The lineup for the 2025 Cannes Film Festival has been announced, and one of these movies may very well be the next Best Picture. This video is brought to you by Factor. Go to factormeals.com/Murrell50off and use code Murrell50off for a special offer, and stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell here with my look at the full lineup for the 2025 Cannes Film Festival, one of the most famous and prestigious film festivals in the world, and increasingly one that is very relevant to the Academy Awards. I know it feels like we just wrapped up Oscar season, but it's time to start talking already about the movies that might be in awards contention at the end of this year. The lineup was announced either late last night or early this morning, depending on where you are and what your sleep schedule is. I myself don't require sleep. I just plug into the wall and watch Hereditary on a loop. And if you've never been up at 4 o'clock in the morning watching a press conference that is almost entirely in French, a language that you don't speak or understand, and that has a 25-minute preamble before they announce any of the movies that have been selected, I really would recommend it. It's kind of a surreal experience. I guess it's very French. It's very appropriate. Now, last year's Cannes Film Festival gave us our Best Picture winner, Anora, as well as Best Picture nominees, The Substance and Emilia Perez. The Apprentice, which generated some acting nominations, was at Cannes last year. 2 of the nominees for Best International Film were at Cannes. The Best Animated Film winner, Flow, was in the Uncertain Regard section last year. And other movies like Megalopolis, Kinds of Kindness, and All We Imagine Is Light were at Cannes last year. So you're going to be hearing about a lot of these movies later this year. And let's look at the lineup, starting with some of the more high-profile ones. First of all, we have Eddington, which is directed by Ari Aster. This is his first film in competition at Cannes. Joaquin Phoenix stars as a New Mexico sheriff who clashes with the town mayor, played by Pedro Pascal, over regulations during the COVID-19 pandemic and decides to run for mayor himself. Emma Stone, Austin Butler, and Clifton Collins Jr. are among the ensemble cast. This was apparently revised from a screenplay that Ari Aster had at one time intended to be his directorial debut, and it was co-produced and is being distributed by A24. So they've already got the machine up and running. Next up is The Phoenician Scheme, directed by Wes Anderson. This is Anderson's 4th film to compete for the Palme d'Or, the highest honor at the Cannes Film Festival, after Moonrise Kingdom, The French Dispatch, and Asteroid City. Of course, The Phoenician Scheme already has a U.S. release date, a trailer, all of that stuff. It's coming out on May 30th, very shortly after the Cannes Film Festival wraps up. Also in competition is Alpha, directed by Julia Ducournau, who broke through with her debut feature Raw in 2016 and won the Palme d'Or in 2021 with Titan. Alpha reportedly takes on the AIDS epidemic and is set in the late 80s when a teenage girl is ostracized by her classmates after it's rumored that she's contracted the same illness that one of her parents is sick with. Neon has reportedly picked up distribution rights for this film, as they did with Titan a few years ago. Nouvelle Vague is directed by Richard Linklater, and it's about the making of the landmark French New Wave film Breathless, directed by Jean-Luc Godard. New Wave is what the movie's title means in English. This is a movie about a landmark French film from an American director, and I think this is something that could go very, very right or very, very wrong at the Cannes Film Festival. Also in competition is The History of Sound, which is directed by Oliver Hermanus, the South African director who guided Bill Nighy to a Best Actor nomination in 2022's Living. Josh O'Connor and Paul Mescal play 2 men during World War I who team up to get sound recordings of fellow Americans and end up falling in love. North American distribution rights have already been picked up for this film by Mubi, who helped to guide The Substance to so much awards acclaim last year. And when you look at the cast, Josh O'Connor, Paul Mescal, they have very loyal followings. They sing in the film. It's based on a Pulitzer Prize-winning story. There are a lot of elements here that could help it to have a lot of success on the awards circuit, and also, hopefully it's a really good movie as well. Director Joachim Trier's latest film, Sentimental Value, is also in competition. He's the writer-director of The Worst Person in the World, which was very well received a few years ago. And this film reunites him with star Renata Reinsve alongside Stellan Skarsgård, Elle Fanning, and Corey Michael Smith. Neon has already acquired North American distribution rights, which they bought last year, and the movie is about two sisters and their relationship with their father, so I think this is one to definitely put on your radar. The latest film from director Kelly Reichardt, The Mastermind, is in competition. She's been an indie darling since the 90s with movies like Wendy and Lucy and First Cow. The Mastermind is a crime movie starring Josh O'Connor, he's there again, along with Alana Haim and John Magaro. And Kelly Reichardt's last film, 2022's Showing Up, was also her first film in competition at Cannes. Now she has her second. Let's move on to the rest of the field here. We have The Secret Agent, which is directed by Kleber Mendoza Filho from Brazil, which is set in 1977 in the end stages of the Brazilian military dictatorship. Wagner Moura plays a man on the run. Udo Kier also stars in the film. And given the response to I'm Still Here last year, which was also a Brazilian film and also set in the same era, then I think this is one that you definitely have to watch. We also have A Simple Accident, directed by Jafar Panahi, an Iranian director who was arrested and jailed after his last film, No Bears, was released. Romaria comes from Spanish director Carla Simón. Her last film, Alcaraz, won the top prize at the Berlin International Film Festival in 2022. The Eagles of the Republic is directed by Tariq Saleh, a Swedish director who had a film in competition back in 2022. It's about an Egyptian movie star who's forced under threat by the military to take the lead in a movie. Dossier 137 is directed by Dominic Mall, an acclaimed French director, and stars Leah Drucker as what we would call an internal affairs investigator. Fuori is directed by Mario Martone, an Italian director. Valeria Galino plays a woman who is sent to prison and befriends her fellow inmates. Two Prosecutors comes from director Sergei Loznitsa, a Ukrainian director who's also a well-known documentarian. It's set during the Stalin era in the USSR. After comes from director Oliver Lax, a French director with Spanish roots. It's about a father and son who are searching for their missing daughter/sister at a rave in the middle of the Moroccan desert. We also have La Petite Dernière, or The Last One, which is directed by Hafsia Herzi, a French actress and director who recently won a César Award for Best Actress. This is her fourth film, an adaptation of Fatima Dash's novel about a woman who finds herself alone on a cruise ship when everyone else vanishes. Young Mothers comes from the Dardenne brothers, Jean-Pierre and Luc, Belgian filmmakers who have won the Palme d'Or twice in 1999 and 2005, among many other awards. They're basically Cannes royalty. The film is about mothers in a shelter trying to find a better life. Renoir is a film directed by Chi Hayakawa, a Japanese director whose last film was Plan 75 back in 2022. It follows a young girl struggling with life in Japan in the late 80s. And then we have Sound of Falling, directed by Masha Skalinsky, a German filmmaker. It's a story that crosses decades about girls growing up on a farm. So those are all the movies that are in competition for the Palme d'Or, which is the most prestigious award at the festival. But there are a few other standouts that are being featured in separate categories. Not everything that's screened at Cannes is in competition. First, we have a couple of movies that are screening in the Uncertain Regard section, which is reserved for up-and-coming films and filmmakers. And these movies are directed by familiar names. The first is Urchin, which is directed and written by Harris Dickinson, who starred in Triangle of Sadness, which is a Palme d'Or winner from a couple of years back. It's a movie about a homeless man in London. And then we have Eleanor the Great, which is directed by Scarlett Johansson and stars June Squibb as a senior citizen who starts over in New York City. June Squibb has been getting a lot of love in Hollywood recently, and I could see this being a movie, if it's good, if it delivers, that could get her a lot of award season buzz, much as she saw last year with the film Thelma. Two notable films that are screening out of competition, so they'll have big premieres but won't be eligible for awards, are Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which opens in theaters the day before Cannes ends, so you can expect a screening probably about a week before the film hits theaters. This is a calculated risk. Dial of Destiny will tell you that a Hollywood film premiering early at Cannes can also be bad for your buzz, but obviously Tom Cruise wanted to have the big splashy premiere. And then we have Private Life, or Vie Privée, which is directed by Rebecca Zlotowski and stars Jodie Foster as a psychiatrist investigating mourning the death of one of her patients. Sony Pictures Classics has already picked up distribution for this film, and Jodie Foster has been resurgent in Hollywood lately. I could see a push for her at awards season at the end of the year for that film. Finally, a couple notable films in the premiere section. We have the documentary Orwell, 2 + 2 = 5, a George Orwell documentary from Raoul Peck, who was nominated for I Am Not Your Negro. Neon already has the rights to this film. And then we have The Wave, which is the latest from Chilean director Sebastián Lelio, whose 2017 film A Fantastic Woman won the Oscar for Best International Feature. The Wave is reportedly a musical about the feminist movement in Chile in 2018. And those are just some of the notable films that are not in the Palme d'Or competition at Cannes this year, but of the movies that will be competing for the top prize, which one is your favorite? Which one are you most looking forward to seeing? Which one do you think could be on the red carpet at the Academy Awards next year? Let me know down in the comments below. And before we go, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Factor. It's officially springtime, which means that you want to spend your time enjoying the warm temperatures, making your yard look great, and maybe doing your best to assistant coach your nephew's soccer team despite not knowing much about soccer. Okay, maybe that last one's just me, but the point is you don't want to spend your time indoors cooking, and that's where Factor comes in. Factor sends meals straight to you that are ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. No prep, no cooking, just eating, with over 45 choices every week to fit your goals, including having the time to do what you want. You can try Calorie Smart if you're trying to trim weight, Protein Plus if you're looking to add bulk, or even Factor's keto meals. And Factor can power your entire day with add-ons including delicious breakfasts, lunches on the go, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's all of the flavor with none of the fuss. This week, Factor's offering options like roasted garlic, butter salmon, and chicken Florentine that look great. And you can add on breakfast for the whole week, which includes pancakes and eggs, a breakfast skillet, a frittata, and more. Get started right now at factormeals.com/Murrell50off and use code Murrell50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Murrell50off at factormeals.com/Murrell50off for 50% off plus free shipping. Thanks to Factor for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here for the latest in movie news, reviews, box office, and more. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.